Welcome to the channel, everybody. In today's video, we're going to be focusing on HackMotion. Now, there's been a number of people that have done videos on HackMotion, and I mentioned in a previous Sunday morning show that I wanted to do something with my own game with HackMotion. I wanted to focus on it in 2025 to see how my wrists actually work throughout my golf swing, not just in the main full swing, but also with like pitching. How does it work with pitching? How does it work with chipping? Well, today I'm kind of doing an unboxing session with HackMotion. I'm gonna get a bit of an idea of how the golf swing is working for me, how my wrists are working for me, and hopefully we can create some drills that can help improve my game and then give you something to focus on for yourself. Now, for those of you that don't know, HackMotion is basically a sensor that it gets attached to your wrist and gives you an understanding of where your lead wrist is during your swing, and also you can attach it to your trail wrist and get an idea of where your trail wrist is working. So out of the box, what do you get? Well, you get this strap that wraps around your actual wrist position. So I'm going to pop it on for you. So put the strap on around your wrist. Get it nice and tight into the position that's going to make it feel quite comfortable, not too tight, but obviously not too loose, because we want to make sure we get the exact measurements. Once you've got that wrist position on, then you've got another part here that you're going to slide up through your glove and attach it round your actual hand as well. It doesn't actually interfere too much when you're actually holding the club, but this is kind of how it's going to look when you first get it out of the box. Now, there is also a little clip which comes with the box, which you can put that sensor onto the clip and then pop it onto your actual glove itself. Again, just getting your hand into a more free position when you're actually holding that golf club. If you are interested in HackMotion for yourself and you want to follow this journey with me, down in the description, we're going to create a little link for you where you can get a little discount on your HackMotion. Let's get into the video. Now, whilst I set up GC Quad, I just want to tell you a little story with regards to my swing and how it was kind of working for me, transitioning from my amateur days into my kind of PGA days, should we call it. Well, the facts are that when I was in my amateur days, so when I was a college golfer, let's say at the peak of my amateur level, should we call it, around a sort of scratch handicap, played off about +1 over in America, but I was an erratic golfer. I would go out and shoot some low scores because I was a decent putter, and if I got the ball in play off the tee and started to hit a few greens, I could seriously start to go low with my scores. However, I could go out and shoot 68, 67 in the day one, should we say, and then day two, well, I would start to, let's say, lose the plot a little bit. And I kind of put it down to the fact that I was losing control of my club face. Some days I would be able to manage that face really quite nicely, and other days I wouldn't be able to manage it particularly well. And if you've got a bit of speed, things can go a little bit wrong when you do get it wrong. When I turned pro, I was kind of looking at how I could, I don't know, use my own golf swing as a bit of a template, a bit of a, maybe call it a case study. So I was trying to work on my own swing to see if I could improve my own game and put kind of my feels to what actually resulted in the swing and the result of the actual golf ball. So what I did is I went from somebody who was very handsy during the golf swing, and for those of you that have watched my videos for a number of years will remember things like wooden man, like wooden arms, getting the sensation of almost like taking the wrists out of play. And that was absolutely critical for me to becoming a more accurate golfer. I would start to hit, let's say, more fairways, I would start to hit more greens, and I would start to be more consistent with my scoring. But that didn't mean that I shot lower scores. It actually meant that I was a little bit shorter off the tee. I was having to hit a club or a club and a half, even 2 clubs longer into greens with my particular, let's say, par 3s, where I was the previous, let's say, year when I was working on my golf swing with more hand action.
It's got to be that 5-wood of yours, isn't it?
Absolutely perfect 5-wood.
So what have you gone for, 7 or 3?
I got 3 wood.
I think you need it all. Tell you what.
Out there. 3 wood was the club.
What do you hit, 7, did you?
3 wood. You'd take that though in a tournament, wouldn't you? All day. 100%. All day. There's no pictures on the school car, Paul.
No, just videos on YouTube.
And I basically lost power. I gained control, but I lost power. What did that do? Well, it kind of stopped me from shooting low scores. It didn't mean that I couldn't shoot low scores, it just meant that I couldn't go really low because I wasn't coming in with short enough clubs, and therefore I wasn't being able to score 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 under pars. I was kind of around level par, around 1 under par. And to be honest with you, I was pretty successful with it. I was able to actually pick up money as a PGA Pro, and actually at some point I managed to win the Order of Merits, which was great because ultimately that showed that I was becoming a consistent golfer. And I put that consistency down to the fact that I now had an understanding of where my club head was throughout my golf swing, and therefore I could control where that face was at impact and get that ball to go down towards my kind of target line. Again, understanding though that I'd sacrificed a lot of yardage during that time. Line ball. So this is where HackMotion has come into it, because I've never had an understanding of exactly where my wrists are throughout the golf swing. If I'd had this probably back then, I might have been able to do the things that I wanted to do, get an understanding of where my wrists were, and therefore get an understanding of where my club face was. Because ultimately, I always think if you've got control of your hands, if you've got control of your wrists, you can start to control the club face. Now that HackMotion is here, I can start to get an idea of what exactly I do through my swing, and what can I do to, let's say, maybe gain me some yardage or even get a better understanding of how it's going to work for me. And they do create drills as well. So whatever we're going to go through today, I'm going to have a little look at those drills and see if they can maybe help with my game, which might in turn help with your game. So hold that button down. You're going to see that blue light come on there with my HackMotion, which means that this sensor is now active. Clicking on the actual HackMotion system, but I've been messing about with this, so we're already kind of up and running. I'm going to go into full swing for this particular video. I'm going to go into diagnostics, which is going to give me an idea. I'm going to hit some shots and it's going to give me an idea of what I need to kind of focus on. I need to start the calibration for this one, which is going to allow me to get my sensors in the right position. So I get myself where it asks me to be. I press it's in position, bring myself up 30, 45 degrees. It's in position. And now I'm calibrated to what I feel is kind of my center position, should we say. So now that I've got myself in that setup position, I'm gonna simply hit 10 shots. Even though the app is down there looking at me, I'm not gonna sort of focus on it too much. I'm just gonna simply hit the shots, and then it's gonna start giving me some readings once we've got through the 10. I've got the diagnosis, should we say, on what I've actually got here. So what it's saying is that I am looking like I'm a little bit too kind of flippy at impact, which is kind of what I would expect, really. You got to remember, my body used to slow down an awful lot, used to get my hands to flick at the bottom there to hit the golf ball. And as you get flicky, I'm probably delivering, let's say, a little bit too much loft. And I do have that on occasions because I kind of really struggle to deliver what I would call like my optimum 7-iron launch window, should we call it, and that is around sort of between 17 and 19 degrees. I can sometimes get it up into sort of like the early 20s, which tells me that the club is coming through and just kind of lofting up as we come through there. So it's now going to give me a target position of where they believe that I can probably get to. So this is now going to move me into this training program. And it's asking me to go to the training program, which is level 1. Here we go. So I've got 3 drills that it's given me here. It's called merry-go-round drill, the single arm release drill, and the open trail hand drill, all of which are going to hopefully help me when it comes to delivering that club in a more de-lofted position, let's say, in a more powerful, more impactful position, which is going to give me the launch angles that I require, and probably going to give me a little bit more yardage out on the golf course because I'm delivering a little bit less loft. So the first drill that it's asked me to do is the merry-go-round drill. Now this is an interesting one. I've never heard of the fact that it's a merry-go-round drill. I have kind of seen this drill before, but it's basically getting my body and my shoulder lines to tilt correctly during my impact position. So I'm going to simply get this club to kind of come across my chest. And what I mean is the grip of the club across my chest. I'm going to get that club to kind of feel like, as I come into impact, I want to get that club to feel as though As that ball is in its setup position, that club is going to get the sense of just behind there. You can see that handle and everything is pushed slightly forward. So I've got to get my body to stay tilted down to hold that position. And for me personally, I've been someone that's wanted to stand up through the shot. That's where the hands can really start to work. And I did that from a young age because I was always looking for power. So I stood up on the shot, which is common for young junior golfers. So as I come down through, I'm going to feel like I'm opening my body up through, keep my spine angle down, get that right shoulder down, and that's going to allow that club to get to that perfect point in that position. And that feels really, well, it feels like I'm really over the golf ball as I come into impact. Let's give it a quick go. So that sense coming down and holding, you can see that I'm more over the golf ball. I would be somebody that wants to kind of step up this way. So staying more over the golf ball. Oh, that's nice. Like my normal yardages with a 7-iron, especially one that I'm using here now, which is very traditional in its lofts, I'm normally hitting a 7-iron around 155. That's picked up, that's 161 straight away, and I'm still maintaining great spin at 6.6 in the spin numbers, which is perfect for me in a 7-iron. That felt really quite good. Little draw as well. The next drill that they've got me to do is what they call the single arm drill. So this is going to be hitting golf shots with one arm, and we're going to use both the left and the right arm for this particular one. So first one we're going to use is we're going to get the club to its kind of parallel position on the way back down. So I'm getting the sense that I'm kind of coming down, and once I get to this position here, I want to then try and hit the shot from there. So first things first, I'm going to take my left hand, my lead hand off the club, and put it onto my left leg from here. And then I'm gonna get the sense of throwing the club almost at the golf ball. But I don't wanna get the sense that I'm flicking that club underneath me. I'm gonna hold that finish and get it into that position there, which should allow me to get a better strike on that ball, and everything should square itself up with, well, certainly the right hand to start with. So get myself into that downward position, should we call it, as I'm starting to come down into the ball, get my club parallel to the ground from here, and then take my left hand off the club, put it onto my left leg, and then as I come through, I'm going to really turn through and hopefully get a decent strike on this. Okay, actually a little shank, to be fair. Now, being as I'm a left-handed kind of person in many sports that I do, I always find this one, my right hand, it just feels quite weak to me. You're going to find this with one of your hands, probably more so the left hand for a lot of you. But for me, it's the right hand. So turn through and there. And I think that's a pretty good start for me. So now this hand feels more, as I said to you, more natural for me. So from this position again, coming into the impact, club is now parallel to the ground, right hand on the club, and then a sensation of turning through. And I just want to get the sense that I'm almost just like holding onto the club. Don't let the club kind of flick underneath me and get away from me. By holding it and keeping that left wrist kind of pointing down towards my target, that's going to keep that club face nice and square throughout that impact zone. So from here, once in that position, right hand off the club, turn through. Not the best strike, but I just find it really easy to be able to just turn onto the shot with this particular drill. A little bit better than probably with the right hand. Once in that position, turn through. Yeah, again, you can hear from the strike is so much better. Now though, we need to bring the hands together. And that's where they asked me to create an open trail hand drill. That's the right hand for me, trail hand, and I'm going to keep it open throughout this drill. So getting into the setup position, put my left hand onto the club, right hand onto the club, and then I'm simply just going to open up my right hand. So now you can see that the palm is up against the actual grip itself. And this is where I'm going to get the sensation as I come through that I want to keep that open, and I'm going to almost push that palm into the thumb of my left hand. That's going to kind of keep that angle there with that right wrist, that trail wrist position. And the great thing about this, and we talked about it from maybe that left hand drill, is this now really focuses me on turning, because I've got to turn, because I don't feel like I've got a great deal of control of the club head itself. I just got to feel like I can turn through the shot, pushing with that right hand, pushing down and through, and that's going to give me that position of feeling like I've got a more solid position at impact. Yeah, really good. But what I've got to do is I've got to make sure that I do the first drill, that merry-go-round drill with it, I've got to make sure I get into that position at the same time. So it's almost like feeling like I'm bringing it all together now. Such a good strike. Hopefully you can hear the strike as I kind of come through, but that strike is pretty much spot on. Perfect. So those are the 3 drills. Let's now bring it into the actual swing and see how it all feels coming together. Absolutely spot on. The strike is so different to what I'm kind of used to. More solid, less slappy. And from a numbers point of view, look, 165 yards. Look at that launch window, 18.5 in that launch window with a 6.3. All right, it's just giving me an estimate there, but that's great launch window and great numbers. Just need to make sure I keep maintaining a good amount of spin numbers. And that's the important thing for me, is maintaining that spin. This is why I tend to like to sort of drift towards more traditional lofted irons, because I need to make sure I get the spin out of these golf balls to give me that control. But there you go, there's my first experience of the HackMotion system. I think I've got a few things to kind of work on, a few drills to really sort of zone in on, and those drills are going to take some time because they don't just happen overnight. You've got to work on them and focus on them, but they're giving me some ideas as to what I need to focus on. I don't have to increase my swing speed, I don't have to get, let's say, stronger. I just need to make sure my impact position, my left wrist, right wrist position are in a good spot. And to be honest with you, like I said before earlier in this video, I wish I'd kind of known this stuff, I don't know, 15 years ago when I was making the changes to my swing, especially when we're on this race for distance, or what it feels like we're on a race for distance. I hope you enjoyed that video. Let me know down in the comments if you're using HackMotion. If you're not, why not? If you are, how's it working for you? Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. A big thank you to HackMotion, and let's see if we can follow this journey up and see how good I can get with this impact position. Thanks for watching.